Alex Wood now available. First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Alex, hi. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. How would you assess the way that your postseason so far in this CS has gone in terms of production?
Well, I think I feel good. I think I've thrown the ball well. My first two outings was a lot of fun to get back out there these last two nights and be a part of yesterday.
I would imagine it was being a part of yesterday. When you're sitting there in the bullpen, kind of seeing what your offense does in the first three innings, how much can you appreciate that just from a fan perspective?
I mean, it was huge. I mean, I think everybody was pretty hyped up after the game last night. You know, it was such an incredible answer after those first two games. You know, it really felt like that was the first game of the year that we kind of put it all together in all aspects. You know, we were hyped up. You know, I think one of the hard things, you know, for this team and the organization is, you know, you get so used to, you know, you win the division every year. You make a deep run in the postseason a lot of years. You have a lot of guys that have a lot of experience in these types of games. And so, you know, that's great, but also it can become, you can start to feel stagnant a little bit as far as you, like, at least speaking for myself, you know, passion wise, or like that ability to get up for a big series and a big game when, you know, things like this have become almost expected and normal. And so, you know, they punched us in the face those first two games, and, you know, seeing how we came back in the ninth of that second game and how we came out in the first inning yesterday. I mean, it was one of the cooler games I've been a part of in my whole career on any level. And so it was a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully we'll come out and do the same thing again tonight.
Is that something, Alex, where you give yourself a talking to, you have a team meeting, or do you need that punch in the face to kind of wake you up a little bit?
It woke us up. You know, I think that was apparent yesterday. And now we got a series. So we got 2-2 on the mound tonight. I think everybody's pretty juiced up to have him out there in a big game 4, and hopefully we'll play our best game.
Finally, for me, Alex, how much do you guys need Kirsch to be Kirsch tonight to even up this series?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Clayton is, I mean, you pretty much know what you're going to get every time he steps on the mound. You know, he's going to give us a chance to win. You know, he's going to compete his ass off, and hopefully we'll go out there, score some runs early, you know, strike first, and kind of go from there. And we got a lot of fresh arms in the bullpen. I think we're set up nice, and so it's going to be a great game for tonight.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Next question's from Dave Vasse. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, Mookie actually said the same thing after that first game in San Diego in that final regular season series about the Padres punching you guys in the mouth and responding with the next two games. Would you say those are the two moments where you guys fell into the trap you described and have come out of it?
Yeah, in a sense, for sure. You know, I think that these first two games with the Braves, you know, was a little bit different than the San Diego series. I think and as far as a talent level and playing field, the Padres are a great team. They got a lot of good players, but they're still pretty young. The Braves, you know, they're starting to really kind of piece it all together. You know, they're a little short in the rotation with some injuries and things like that, but they got a great core. They got some MVP caliber players, Freddie, Acuna, those guys, and I think they match up really well with us. And they came out and did their thing the first two games, and you kind of show up to the park, you know, that day 3 yesterday, and like, all right, we got to strap it on and kind of put our game face on, go out there and play our best game, because if not, you know, we're going to be out of here quick. And so it was nice to see those guys step up to the plate. You know, from the first pitch, you know, the energy was there, the passion was there, the do or die was there. You know, it was just a lot of fun to be a part of. I was so proud of our guys yesterday. I really was. You know, you score that many runs early, even in a postseason game. I mean, you pretty much know it's over for the most part. And so, you know, guys, you know, can give, especially the hitters, you know, it's easy to give pitches away. It's easy to give at bats away, you know, just because you're kind of on cruise control. But I mean, I've never been a part of a game in my whole professional career that a team had that big of a lead that I was on, and every single hitter the entire game, start to finish, grinded every single pitch of every single at bat. And those things matter, those things matter a lot. We made their guys to a lot of pitches. They didn't use a lot of their top arms yesterday, but I mean, those things are super important, grinding at bats out. Every moment matters in every single game when in the postseason. So it was really special to watch yesterday.
Hey, Alex, is there any parallels between this team and the 2017 team that came a game short for the World Series?
Oh, that's a tough question, Dave. I mean, definitely probably the two most talented teams I've been on. I mean, this team, currently the 2020 team, is definitely the most talented team that I've been a part. I think for me personally, you've been kind of weird year, short season. We've kind of out talented everyone up until this point. And really the end of that game too, when we tried to make a comeback and how we answered yesterday, I think that checked a lot of boxes about, is this the best team I've been a part of? Because there's for sure a difference in the most talented team the guys have played on it and the best team. And, it's scary starting to see the two kind of converge and combine. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, the rest of the way. And hopefully we'll keep the momentum from last night and keep going from there.
Thank you.
Next question is from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Jock and Max were obviously part of that offensive barrage yesterday. Do you think there's something to guys who seem to be able to pick things up in October regardless of maybe how the last couple months had gone for them?
Yeah, I mean, we got guys that love the moment, and that's not something that everybody possesses. And I mean, they don't call it Jocktober they call it Jocktober for a reason. So it was nice to see him get a few knocks his first few games and him put one out of the park, put a great swing on the ball yesterday. And then, Max, he didn't have the year that he wanted, I don't think personally, but, he's still a pretty damn good player, and you can just see his comfort level continuing to climb as the postseason has gone on. And I mean, the two balls he's hit the last two games, I mean, that's the Max Muncy we all have come to know and love. And so it's nice to hopefully see those guys get hot at the right time.
And then for you, I mean, how are you feeling after going, back to back? Obviously not something you had to do at all this year, and just physically, how you doing?
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's definitely a little bit sore today. I don't know the last time I went back to back. It's been a long time, I think. But I felt good. I feel like my stuff's good, and it's just nice to be contributing in the NLCS in the postseason again. So hopefully I'll be okay today, probably down today, and then back in there in the next couple, and hopefully help us win a series.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Alex, obviously don't travel, for this last series, this series next, if you guys go that far. But playing all these games in a row and just kind of staying in this bubble, like what kind of grind is this, both physically and mentally?
It's just a little bit different. I mean, it's during the regular season. I mean, we'll play upwards of 21 straight. It just doesn't matter as much as each game matters right now, especially in the NLCS in the postseason. So, I mean, it's something we haven't really thought about a lot. I mean, I think we take pride on our depth and how many good players we have. I mean, I was talking with somebody the other day just about our rotation. I mean, it's insane. We pretty much have 5 guys that would probably be the number one on most teams in baseball. I mean, it's just the depth, the position players, the bullpen. I mean, it's a special group. There's no doubt about it, which is the reason we've gotten to this point. And hopefully over the course of a 7-game series, if it goes to 7 games, our depth will shine through and kind of propel us to the World Series.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. Like, even when you guys were down 0-2, do you guys just had the confidence that your depth was going to prevail in this series?
Yeah, I mean, we needed to have a big game yesterday, and it was incredible to see how we answered and came out with the energy and the wherewithal to kind of bounce back from those first 2 games yesterday. And we know the talent that's on this team. We know the depth that's on this team. We feel confident in every single person we are running out there, whether it's out of the pen, the rotation, starting lineup every day. It's been a blast to be a part of. And you don't really get to truly see that depth shine through like you do in the postseason. So I think over the course of this series, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Thanks, Alex.
Next question is from Bill Shaking. Go ahead.
Alex, I know you're aware from not only playing for the Braves, but from going to college in Georgia, that folks there remember the 14 straight division titles and the one World Series, and now the Dodgers, as you mentioned, 8 straight division titles. I'm wondering, do you buy into the Billy Beane theory that the postseason is simply a crapshoot, or are there things teams can do to make the playoffs come out differently than the regular season?
I don't know if I would describe it as a crapshoot. I think that obviously getting hot at the right time. I mean, subtracting this year where you have half the league in the playoffs. I mean, you pretty much are going into the postseason, and all the teams that enter the postseason on a regular year are really quality clubs. And I mean, you get in the right frame of mind at the end of the season, heading into the postseason. Like, I mean, look at the Nats last year; they're a perfect example. I mean, it's just about hitting your stride at the right time. And we've kind of, after the last 2 days, it kind of feels like we got a lot of guys like teetering on that edge of really starting to move into a pretty good, cycle, whether it's pitching or hitting, whatever it may be. And so I think there's things you can do to combat and basically set yourself up for success. But I mean, definitely there's a lot of chance in the postseason for sure. I mean, we've seen it, and I think people forget winning a World Series is really hard, like really, really hard. It's not easy to do, and to just be in the conversation every season is a privilege. And now I'm hoping that we'll be able to get over that hump and bring a title back to LA.
Next question is from Sarah Spencer. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Earlier you mentioned depth a little bit, but you also talked about fresh arms in the bullpen. How encouraging is it, or did you guys have any conversations about kind of, being able to jump on the starter early last night and making them churn through some of their arms in the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job maneuvering around it. The game got out of hand early, so they were able to kind of save some of their more higher leverage guys from throwing yesterday. But they don't have a lot of starter depth. I think it's apparent, and so to have two of their long guys, throw a lot of pitches yesterday, it handicaps them a little bit. And so hopefully we'll go out today. We got all our guys, our high leverage guys are fresh for the game today, and we'll be prepared for whatever they throw our way, and hopefully we'll jump on them early and we can, kind of manage the game kind of like we did yesterday. But, it'll be a great test again. It'll be exciting to see Clayton go out there and do his thing, and then hopefully we'll wind up on top tonight, even the series.
I got one more. Go ahead, TV Atlanta.
Hey, Alex, appreciate you doing this. Just a quick question. We obviously, you've been a couple of years now since you last pitched for the Braves, and of course, UGA before that. Are there any specific thoughts you have, at this point in your career, if you face the Braves, whether it's in a game or a series or whatever, or are you kind of far removed from that to where it's just kind of like another team now?
Every year that goes by, it's more and more like another team. It's obviously there's not a ton of like holdovers in the lineup with the Braves from when I was there. I mean, there's a few, but they're almost an entirely new team, so it's not as bad. But I mean, obviously going against Freddie, and I've played against Azuna forever, and I know a lot of those guys personally over there, and so sometimes it is a little bit weird, but you try to block all that out, especially in the postseason because you got a job to do. But it definitely is a different dynamic for sure when you go up against a team that you formerly played with or guys you formerly played with.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everybody.